To be the mediator here, that means I'm going to read questions, okay? That's it. So I'm not on the hot seat, so don't be giving me the evil eye up here. Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thanks for submitting questions. If you have a cell phone, please put it on silent or vibrate or turn it off so it doesn't ring in the middle of these things. The way this is going to operate tonight is we're going to draw questions out. We're going to go till 8 o'clock. Or when the questions run out, whichever comes first. So if there's still questions in the basket at 8 o'clock, we're done, okay? And I'll just draw them out randomly. And I'll read the questions. We're going to give each candidate 3 minutes to answer if they want to take that long. Michael, give him a, hold up his finger at about 30 seconds.
30-second warning.
Yeah, give him a 30-second warning to summarize things. We'll start off with giving each candidate a minute or two to introduce themselves and talk a little bit, and then we'll get into the questions. Please be courteous to the candidates, okay? You guys have already contributed by contributing your questions, so we want to give the time we have here tonight to these folks up here, so don't be hollering out stuff and, you know, let's not have, like, you know, the Republican debate the other night. So, I think we'll get things going now. We'll just start on this end. Eric Bixby, stand up and
Good evening. I'm Eric Bixby. I've been on the board for 12 years or so now. I farm east of town here. I've got a couple semis running around the country. I guess my youngest daughter just graduated. I had every intention of getting off the board. I've been asked to run again just because I bring some experience to this position, and we've got a few things going on that need to be closed up yet and settled, and I guess I think I got some leadership to help get through those issues. So, thanks for coming.
okay, John Hoyer.
Well, I'm John Hoyer. I'm from Allison here, obviously. I've been on the board for, like Eric, 12 or 13 years. I'm a self-employed contractor. I guess, I don't know.
Kids.
Oh, I got 3 kids. One's going to be a freshman in high school now. Like I said, I've been here my whole life. I'm running because I enjoy it, which a lot of people wouldn't, you know, believe that maybe, but I mean, we have a great school board now, and I anticipate it being just as good of a school board then, you know, whoever's on. But you know, like Eric, you know, see great things ahead of us and want to keep it going that way.
And Bobby Spainhauer.
My name is Bobby Spainhauer. I live in Green. I am a registered representative in an investment department at First Security Bank. I have 3 girls, one that has already graduated and 2 that are currently at North Butler. And I'm running because I would like to see some new ideas and some new perspective brought to the school board. I'd like to see better communication with the teachers and the current school board and the community. And I'd like to see a bullying program put into our schools that works.
And Liz Schroeder.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Schroeder, and I live in Green. I have 3 children, and my oldest will be in kindergarten this year. My younger 2 will be coming up into the school. I am running because education is very important to myself and my family, and I also would like to see a little bit of change throughout the school, especially in the area of communication and public involvement with the parents, getting everybody involved to ensure that North Butler is the best school. I feel like involvement of everybody is very important to making our school successful. I work up in Albert Lea, Minnesota. I'm a medical dosimetrist, and we also have a training program up there with Mayo Clinic, so I have a little background with training. So, thanks.
And something else I just thought of is when we start these questions, I'll let Eric answer the first one first, and John answer the second one first, and then we'll kind of, so each of you get a chance to get in the first and the last word on these, if that sounds reasonable to you folks. And we did ask people to put their names on these. I won't necessarily read the names unless we need some clarification on the question. So our first question comes, can each of you explain your knowledge of general fund, PEPL fund, how they can be used, and what you would like to see be changed with how these funds are used or funded, whether it be at the local or state level?
Could you break that down into each piece?
Okay,
Like just do like general, what do you guys think? It's kind of a long question.
so you wanna.
Like what is the general fund like?
So you wanna talk about general funds first, and then we go to PEPAL?
Yes,
And, well, basically it's just general and PEPAL.
okay. Well, then that's fine.
Okay, and how they can be used.
Sure.
Okay, I'll let Eric take that one first.
Okay. The general fund can be used basically for everything except physical purchases, buildings, buses, equipment, computers, that kind of stuff. General fund has to pay wages, upkeep of the buildings, insurance. Well, insurance goes on management fund, but basically the general fund covers the wages, which is 78% of our budget. That's the big expense out of there. PEPAL fund is like all your buildings, buses, any major improvements you want to make, paving the parking lot, whatever. So that's, I guess, the extent of those funds.
Well, the second part of the question was, what would you like to see be changed with how these funds are used?
I don't know if we can change a whole lot on how they use. A lot of the stuff is dictated to us from the state on how we can spend those funds. It'd be nice if the state would fund those funds, so we had money to spend in them. You know, the governor asked for a 9% pay raise for his office, but gave us a 1.25%, growth allowance to use in our budget. So as a school district, we have to continue to do more with less funding, so it makes our jobs a lot harder as a school board. So, and the PEPAL fund, that's funded, also by property taxes, and the 1 cent sales tax money also can be spent on PEPAL fund expenses. So, and that's a statewide income now, so that gets divided out per student, broke down, so it's the same per student across the state. So, I don't know if there's much change with those.
Okay, John?
How do I add to that? If that's just an explanation of what they're for, I don't know.
Maybe how you want to change this.
Well, I don't, but I mean, like Eric said, there's, that's out of our hands, the change into that, but that is dictated by the state. Whatever they say is what we can do with it. And I don't think as school board members, we have much influence.
The legislature pretty much sets some parameters on what we can use those funds for. There's not a lot of say that we have in that as a
No, I
board.
don't, yeah. So really, I don't know how to add to what Eric has said, other than explaining what,
Okay.
does that make any sense?
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
I would, that maybe we can look into some grant writing and try to get some other money that we could use for like playground equipment or to add on to the building. So maybe something that we could do to add to the general fund or full fund.
I would like to add on to Eric about the general fund has like categorical expenses within it as well. So there's special education money is part of the general fund, but those funds go through the general fund, but then they're earmarked, so you get money into the general fund that can only be used for specific purposes. As far as the PEPAL fund goes, I would like to see a list, which I know there have been lists in the past of certain expenditures, like we have a list of the Green High School and the Allison Building, middle school, elementary, of all the things that we feel like need to be improved over the years. And then the board would vote on the priorities. So the number one priority would be whatever, they would be listed out, and based upon how much money we feel like we could spend, and with our future projection of what we're gonna do as far as do we need to save money back to grow or what, I would like to see the PEPAL fund money managed a little bit differently with a little bit more board input on which expenditures are most important.
Okay, we'll go to the next question. I'll reach down to the bottom of the pile this time. And we're gonna let John start with this one. How will you improve relations with the staff?
I guess I could start, actually, I guess just being, more out there. I guess I find myself that I am, you know, at football games, basketball games and stuff like that. I mean, to be more approachable, or letting them know that I'm approachable, you know, for different, whatever is, you know, happening or whatever concerns they may have. I know a lot of that stuff usually has to go through the administration first, but, you know, they can still be talking to us as board members to let us know what is going on and what improvements need to be done, or what things they would like to see happening in the school district.
Okay, Bobby?
The question was the school board to be more,
Yeah, how will you, I guess it's you personally, improve relations with the staff? That's how I would take that question.
okay, I would like to have a open where they could email me, call me, talk to me, and listen. I think that our teachers are the ones that work with our kids directly one-on-one. I think they're more knowledgeable sometimes than the superintendent or the principal, because they have that one-on-one interaction, and I believe that they could, by just being there and listening to what they have to say and helping them, I think would improve the communication.
Liz?
I would like to make sure or follow up, get a report from the principal and the superintendent on what actually happened throughout the month with the teaching staff. Like, did they have a staff meeting? Did they get an email sent out? What kind of updates are the teaching staff getting, and what kind of issues are there? Have there been any complaints from parents about different things? Are there any needs that the teachers have? But I want to know that as a board member too. I'm sure that the principals can handle that, but I just like to know exactly what's going on to make sure that that communication is happening. Thanks.
Eric?
As a board, it's not the board's job to micromanage the teachers and the day-to-day operations of what's going on at the school. That falls on the superintendent, principals, those folks. I think we have a very open line of communications between our staff and our administration. The teachers have weekly, training seminar sessions on Wednesday afternoon. So I think, you know, by having the buildings, one administrator per building, that's going to improve that relationship a lot, because we're going to be able to have those administrators at those meetings, and they're going to be able to have a one-on-one with the staff and get those questions and concerns out, and that, you know, will feed back to the board in our administrative reports every month. The principals and superintendent, you know, tell us what's going on at school. I know personally, I don't just talk to, you know, Mr. Foster, the principals, you know, just at the board meeting. I talk to them, you know, fairly regular, so if there's a problem, I usually know about it. And that's something, you know, if you talk to them, they're very open, easy to talk to, easy to visit with. And, you know, if it's something they can discuss with you, they will tell you. Some issues are, if they're personnel related or student related, they can't tell you about it. That's just the way it is. So, but yeah, there's always room for improvement, but I think we do a pretty good job of that.
Okay, next question. We'll let Bobby start with this one. How do you expect to work side by side with the current and newly elected board members alongside of the administration? Since in the past there has been accusations and mistrust with the board members and the administration.
I believe that you have to be honest, and you have to have an open mind. You have to listen as well as bring your knowledge. And I think that by being on the board with other people that are currently on there, they have experience, and I think the new members coming on have fresh ideas. I think that you have to realize that it's not just about you, it is a team position, and you have to work together to do what's best for our children and their education for the future.
Liz?
I don't think there would be a problem working with any of the current board members that are on, or the current administrator. Like Bobby said, we have to work as a team together to make North Butler great. So no matter if I agree or disagree with anyone, I can easily step back and listen and even change my mind on what I learn and what I hear and the reasons behind it. When I have all the information in front of me, I will be happy to work with whoever if I am elected.
Eric?
As a board member, having been on the board, you know, as long as I have, I've worked with several different people on the board, and we've always got along great. The problem we have as board members is if people get on and they've got a one-issue agenda, they're gonna, get something accomplished. It's not that easy. Currently there's 7 board members, it's going to 5. It takes a majority of the board to get anything changed. And usually people that get on there with tunnel vision about getting one thing done, they get frustrated and quit. I've seen it several times over the years. Just lost my train of thought. But the other thing of that is, there's things that happen with the board that we can't go out and discuss with the public. We know we've had some problems in the past with some administration. I can't legally discuss those with anybody. And that comes from the state, because we have closed session meetings. We've been through a lot of stuff with our attorney. I can't discuss it with you. I'll be in deep trouble. I'm not going down that road. So I know we've had issues. We've got to work through those. We're on the right track. That's why you guys elect board members. You're putting us in place to take care of the job of managing the administration at the school, so you have to trust us to do that. Even if we can't tell you what's going on always, you have to trust that we're making the right decisions, asking the right questions, and doing what needs to be done.
And John?
Could you repeat that one, the question or the general?
Sure. How would you expect to work side by side with the current and newly elected board members alongside of the administration, since in the past there have been accusations and mistrust with the board members and administration?
Well, to go along with what Eric has said, and he'll agree, and I see there's board members here also, that in closed sessions, we have had some good discussions. I mean, it's gotten heated, it's done, but we all come out of there, in agreement or whatever, everybody says their point, and afterwards, I mean, we just go on, and nothing is continually picked at from whatever is said or whatever. The board members, like I said, I've been on there for 12 or 13 years, and each one of them, I mean, I've enjoyed it. We get along good, and I'd like to see that continue, with everybody has their opinions and says what they, need to say, but then we just move on and get it done and continue with the daily business or the other business at hand. And, it's a battle. I mean, we've had a lot of good discussions, but I mean, to me, everything works its way out, and we continue for the best of the school and the district, and we want to keep it going that way.
Thank you. Okay, our next question. Everybody's answered that one, I believe. We'll let Liz field this one first. Many people have written and emailed to board members and have not received responses. Can you, or are you allowed to answer these emails? And then it gives an example of an email to a couple board members that did not get answered. So Liz.
Okay. As long as the questions are not about confidential information, students, grades, you can answer them. You're supposed to have an open relationship with the public. To my knowledge, I don't think there would be any reason why you would not want to respond to an email, because that's why you elect us. If you have a concern or anything that you would like addressed, or even a question about the school in general, you should be able to come to any board member and ask a question and receive some kind of answer. And on the same line, if you can't answer and you feel like you don't want to or would rather talk on the phone, you could just respond, or I would just respond with a, please give me a call at this number, or I cannot answer this question because of this reason.
Eric.
If you email me, I probably won't email you back. I just don't email. I'm generally not around the office. I don't have a smartphone. Leave me your number, I'll call you. I've called people back and try to be very good about that. If I don't know something, I'll try to find it out, get back to you, let you know what I know. But I don't email. So that's just me, and I guess that's the world I live in. But no, it needs to be an open communication. I've gotten calls from people before, 9, 10 o'clock at night, early in the morning. That's fine. I'm usually up. I don't mind that. But I would just as soon talk to somebody one-on-one as send an email. So, and like I said, that's just me. But we need to have an open relationship. And my number's in the book, it's very public, so I don't have any big secrets, I guess. John?
And once again, I agree with Eric, or I don't email either. I read them, but I prefer to talk one-on-one. I don't return them because to me it's just a never-ending battle. Not a battle, but I mean, you can't ask the same question, it's just a cat and mouse game back and forth. I prefer to be called, and that's just the way I do things too. I'm not an emailer, I just don't do it.
Bobby?
I believe to have an open communication, that you have to respond to emails or phone calls. And if you don't know the information or the answer, just as long as you respond and say, I don't know that, but I'll get back to you, or give them a quick call. But I think it's best to acknowledge people, either answer the email, send a phone, text, call, or text, just to keep the communication open.
Okay, we're back to Eric to field this question first. What do you feel was your best accomplishment as a board member? And for a new board member, what would you like to accomplish most? So, Eric.
I think our best accomplishment was getting the merger done. That's been a great asset to our children. They're getting a super education. There's nothing, I've never heard anything bad. I've heard a few bad things, but for the most part, the kids are happy. And like I say, we're getting a great education. The test scores are good. They're proving that. So I think we're on the right track. As far as what I'd like to see us get going in the future, I think we're on the right track with closing that elementary building in Green. I know that's not a popular thing with some people, but by having those elementary students together in the same facility, we're going to be able to make better use of our administrators. We should be able to do a better job with the discipline, and we should be able to give our teachers a lot better support. So I think we're on the right track there. We've got the new track facility going in Green. That's going to be a great asset to our high school.